Would you please stand as we receive the bride? You might be seated. Friends, we are gathered here today together inside of God to witness and bless and celebrate as well the joining together of Morgan Wright and David Preston. God himself ordained the wedding service. Let's not forget that. He's the author. He is the creator. He is the one who invented this. And it was God who gave Eve to Adam. It was God who saw a man's need for the loving care of a suitable companion and who arranged that sweet relationship that we know now as marriage. When God wished to describe and to show the beauty and the unity and the completeness of his church, he decided to use the example of a wedding. That goes to show that he is so deeply involved in the wedding ceremony as he wants to continue to be in the wedding and marriage relationship. In making Christ's relationship with the church parallel to the marriage union, God has made known to you the importance and the tenderness which he looks upon this moment. For marriage as divine ordinance given to help us to become more like Jesus. And I just want to be clear with this. The first fruit that the marriage is going to produce is to make you become more like Jesus. Sometimes, in some seasons during the marriage relationship, you're going to find yourselves encouraging the other one to become more like Jesus. And in another seasons, you're going to be almost forcing the other one to become more like Jesus. But that is the intention. And also to increase human happiness, of course. When God created man, he saw that it was good not for him to live alone. And so he prepared for him a helpmeet. This helpmeet was not taken from his head to rule over him, nor from his feet to be trampled by him, but from his side so that she might be his equal, from under his arm so that she might be his protection, and from near his heart so that she might receive his love. A marriage made in heaven is a union of two lives so welded together that they live, work, and walk in unison. They bear each other's burdens, and they share in each other's joys. A union embodying such an ideal is not to be entered into lightly. I know you know this. Nor unadvisedly, but reverently, soberly, and in the fear of God. And into such a union, Morgan and David come now to be joined. And now it is my privilege to ask who gives this woman to be married to this man.
Her mother and I. us wait 10 years, I'll make them wait 20 seconds. David, having a full understanding of the privileges and obligations of this Christian marriage, will you take this woman to be your wife, to live together in the holy estate of matrimony? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her, in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? Morgan, having a full understanding of the privileges and obligations of this Christian marriage, will you take this man to be your husband, to live together in the holy estate of matrimony? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him, in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live? Morgan and David, do you both solemnly promise before Almighty God and in the presence of these witnesses to receive each other as husband and wife, pledging yourselves to love each other and to make every possible exertion to promote one another's happiness until the union in which you are now entering into is dissolved in death? David, you are about to take upon yourself a pure resolve, a solemn vow, incurring grave and lasting responsibilities. The woman of your choice is now to become the partner of your life, the co-heir of your possessions, and the queen of your home. In no greater way could she manifest her love for you as she leaves her home ties to share with you the joys and sorrows of life. With you, she will now abide, and for you, she will now live. Morgan, you also are to assume grave responsibilities. He whom you are about to wed will look to you for solace in the hour of trial. Your smile should be his brightest day, your voice his sweetest music, your industry his greatest wealth, your economy his safest steward, your lips his faithful counselor, and your prayers his most able advocate at heaven's courts. We've now come to the moment that Morgan and David have most anticipated. They've each prepared vows for one another, in which these promises and cherished memories convey in their own words for the first time what this union signifies. David, if you'll share first.
Thank you. Try to keep it together. Morgan, it's going to be a long day. You have shown me what it means to love unconditionally. You have been my rock by supporting me through the tough times, and my biggest fan, cheering me on during the good times. I love you because of how passionate, driven, and ambitious you are. I love you because I will never forget the way you made me feel when we first met. I love you because when we play Guess My Number before bedtime, you sometimes pick a number you know I'll guess correctly to make me feel smart. I love you because you are strong, but also so kind. I love you because you're the first person I want to tell good news to. I love you because you bring the best out of me every day. I promise to love you unconditionally, to respect you, encourage you, and care for you until the end of my days. I promise to eat chips as quietly as possible and to not leave wet bath towels on the bed. I promise to be your partner for life, to honor you, be loyal to you, and to support your dreams. I truly believe that God's plan for our lives has led us to this special moment. A British-born South African and a girl from Ohio who met in Beckley, West Virginia, entering into a life partnership in front of friends and family from all over the world as our witnesses. Morgan, I love you today, and I will love you forever.
Just so you know, David, this is a 5-page report. Get used to it.
Mine are a little longer. David, 13 years ago, we met under the most peculiar circumstances. You were 8,500 miles away from your home of Durban, South Africa, and I was 3 years into a move that took my family from Ohio to West Virginia. How does a boy from Durban, South Africa, meet a girl from Perry, Ohio in Beckley, West Virginia? When you consider there are 8 billion people in this world, the chances of us meeting at that moment in time seem impossible. But after having the opportunity to fall in love with you not once, but twice, I know it was not a coincidence or chance. It was not a twist of fate or happenstance. Meeting you was God's divine plan for my life. I still remember the first time I saw you jump out of the window at Hogan Hall. I have no idea why you refused to use the door like a normal human. I remember getting instant butterflies, thinking we were going on our first date, to then seeing 5 of your soccer teammates also jump out the same window behind you to go with us to the very romantic destination of IHOP. I didn't know it then, but that night would change my life forever. Looking back, I can say I fell in love with you instantaneously. But we were young and our lives were changing. You were going back home to South Africa and I was going to college at Marshall. And we didn't know where life was going to take us. We had to let each other go. 13 years ago, you wrote me a letter to say goodbye that I still have. The final words of that letter were lyrics to one of our favorite Mumford & Sons songs. It said, "My head told my heart, let love grow. But my heart told my head, this time, no." But it's like we somehow knew that one day we would get a second chance. 7 years went by. 7 years of growing and changing, figuring out who we were as people and what we wanted out of life. We went through different seasons that define who we are today. We kept tabs on each other, a happy birthday text, a Merry Christmas text, but we could never fully quit each other until the day you asked to come see me and my family for Christmas. In December of 2017, I fell in love at first sight for the second time. I couldn't believe that at age 25, I was experiencing the same exact feeling that I had at 18. Trade the Hogan Hall window for an escalator at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, and it was like no time had passed at all. Nothing had changed. And this time we let our hearts say yes. This was our second chance. We committed to a long-distance relationship, and everyone thought we were nuts, but I just knew. I knew that you were the one for me, and I knew this is what God had for me. We overcame so much. 4,000 miles between us, a 6-hour time difference, a global pandemic that kept us physically apart for 2 years, and a 2-year immigration process. It was never easy, but it was always worth fighting for. I want to thank you for the countless sacrifices you made for us, all the money and time spent on flights, short-term stays, long-term stays, not being able to put roots down until we were able to do it together, getting a remote job so we could spend more time together. It was in these decisions that you showed me your heart. You have shown me the depths of love, devotion, and sacrifice. You have also shown me a world I've only known in my dreams. We've traveled the world together, seen the most beautiful places, and created countless memories. We've shared the thrill of experiencing new cultures and marveling at the wonders of the world. But more than the places we have been blessed to visit, it's you who made every destination special. And I know this is supposed to be our big moment in front of all of our family and friends. And while it is a memory that we will cherish, this isn't the big moment. To me, the big moments are making s'mores with you on the back porch, getting sucked into reality shows with me, watching you run around with Harley, watching you be the best uncle to your nieces, living under the same roof and being content with what we have. Those are the big moments. You have the purest heart I have ever known. You make me feel loved and accepted, encouraged and supported, protected and safe, and I promise to do the same. I promise to love and accept you for exactly who you are, to encourage and support you in pursuing your passions, to protect you and to make you feel safe. I will be with you in the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I will dream with you and celebrate with you. I promise to always pursue you, fight for you, and love you unconditionally and wholeheartedly for the rest of my life. In this moment, I want to say we made it, but the truth is our journey is far from over. I love you so much, and I'm forever grateful for our second chance. Sorry, long-winded.
What token do you offer to show that you will faithfully fulfill these vows? In biblical times, a certain young king married a princess from a neighboring country. Soon after their marriage, it became necessary for the king to leave his young wife and lead his armies into battle. One night before he left, the king was walking in the palace gardens. He stood beside the moon-drenched pool, tossing pebbles into the water and watching the circles form. How like a circle is my love for her, he thought. It too has no beginning and no ending. The next day he called his goldsmith and directed him to make a gold circle to fit the queen's finger. When the king slipped the finished ring on his wife's finger, he told her, "This circle, which has no ending, is a pledge of my love for you, which is also eternal." And down through the ages, the circle has sealed the vows of marriage and symbolized the purity and the endlessness of love. I will ask you now to seal these vows which you have just made by the giving and receiving of these rings. The circle is an emblem of eternity. These rings serve as a remembrance in the years to come. They will remind you of this happy hour. My prayer is that your love and happiness will be as unending as these rings. David, if you will place the ring on Morgan's finger and repeat after me. Morgan, I give you this ring as a sign of my vow. And with this ring, I thee wed. With all that I am and all that I have. I honor you and pledge that I will be unto you a faithful husband. Now, Morgan, if you will repeat after me. David, I give you this ring as a sign of my vow. And with this ring, I thee wed. With all that I am and all that I have, I honor you and pledge that I will be unto you a faithful wife. We've been beefing him up a little bit since he's been with us. Morgan and David, you will no longer be two, but one. During the years of your youth, you lived individual lives. You have chosen to commemorate your marriage through the celebration of the sand ceremony. The glass itself is made from sand, and the sands of time have come together, melting into one piece to make this vessel. Today, Morgan and David join their lives together. The two vessels of sand represent their separate lives, separate families, separate friends before today. These two vessels of sand are poured into the third vessel. The individual vessel of sand will no longer exist, but will be joined together as one. Just as these grains of sand can never be separated and poured again into individual vessels, so will their marriage be.
I love you, Lord, for your mercies never fail me. All my days are held in your hands. From the moment when I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God.
I love your voice. You led me through the fire in darkest nights. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Morgan and David have consented together in holy wedlock and witnessed the same before God and this company. Thereto have given and pledged their faith each to the other, and have declared the same by the giving and receiving of a ring, and by the joining of hands. I now pronounce that they are husband and wife in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You may kiss your bride. Well, I know my place. I'll just stay over here. You received the white ribbons when you came in, and we would ask that you would just wave those in the center aisle as the newlyweds exit the sanctuary, and then head down to the left to the family room, and we will join you for some refreshments. So it is now my honor to present to you Mr. and Mrs. David Preston.